Hey everybody, Mr. Hartnagel here, and welcome back to another episode of Beyond the View. It's our podcast where we interview our Grandview alums who are currently in college. On this month's episode, we were lucky enough to sit down with Ava, who was very, very busy. So we were lucky enough to get her in her busy schedule. We sat down and talked all about her time currently at FAU. So she's our first local student on the pod, but also how she transferred from the University of Tampa, where she started, to FAU. So she's also our first transfer student. We talked about her academics, what's going on with tennis. So it was great catching up with Ava. But before we begin, also wanted to say this episode will drop probably right before Thanksgiving. So wanted to say happy Thanksgiving to all of you out there. Hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving break. Rest, relax before the last push for the semester and finals. We'll be back again in December with another episode as well as our monthly updates, so check them all out on the YouTube channel. But without further ado, here's our podcast interview with Ava. Ava, welcome to the Beyond the View podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, glad that you could join. And for those watching, I am in the offices of Mr. Alan Staub over at the Everett campus today. And we will get into your tennis career that has apparently continued into college. But I wanted to start kind of how we're starting all these podcasts, which is your senior year, going back a few years, and just the process of what it was like going through the college admissions process. I know you looked at a lot of schools, in state, out of state. It seemed, if I recall my memory, undecided about a lot of where you wanted to go. You visited some schools, you did not like certain schools that you visited. But just kind of walk us through the process of going through your senior year and the whole application process.
Honestly, I think it was a really just stressful process for me. I know, honestly, like it probably harassed your life, to be honest. But I was just very up in the air. I honestly, like, I didn't come in senior year like, knowing a set school that I wanted to go to. I didn't know if I wanted to stay in Florida. I didn't know if I wanted to go out of state. So I felt like it was important for me to like apply to a bunch of different schools, small and big, because that's also another thing I didn't know if I wanted. I think I knew probably from going to Grandview that I wanted a smaller school only because I feel like it's just more, you feel like a community.
Hmm.
And so that's why I ended up looking at Elon. I looked at College of Charleston,
Yeah.
Tampa, and honestly, FAU wasn't even on my list, but I was pretty dead set on Elon. I think the biggest piece of advice that really stuck with me that you gave me was like when you tour, you really just have to feel like that fit.
Hmm.
And I felt like it was so important to just to be on the campus and feel the vibe and see people walking around. I feel like it's also really important to go when it's a busy time during the school year so that you can see people on campus and how active it gets. And so I think it was definitely stressful and really hard process, but it all works out.
So, what was it? So, for those who don't know, you ultimately started off going to the University of Tampa. I'm wearing the FAU Owls shirt, as you did transfer to FAU afterwards. But what was it about Tampa that first appealed to you? That said, okay, I want to go to the University of Tampa.
Yeah, I think kind of after my visit at Elon, I was really loved it. And then I came home and I was like, I don't know if I want to be a flight away and then a drive from home. And so that was a pretty big part of it. And I was like, I think I should try and go away. And I felt like Tampa was a pretty perfect distance. It was, I could still get home in 4 hours if I had to.
Mhm.
Um, and honestly, just the campus itself was so beautiful, and I just felt like, wow, I could actually really see myself here. It's a really cute town around, and the city, so you kind of got the best of both. And the campus was small but big enough, and I felt like it was a decent amount of people. They obviously don't have football, but they had other things that was like everybody was come together and small class sizes, so that was important for me. So I was like, I think this could really work. Obviously, it didn't, but
Yeah. So you get to Tampa. Talk about kind of those first few weeks, months. Did you have any "Wow, I'm now in college" moment? Didn't like and where it hit you, and then obviously then you have the moment where you thinking, "I now need to make a change." So what were those two moments like? The first kind of like, "Wow, I'm now in college" moment, and then there's the "I now need to make a change" moment. If there was one that you can remember, like a specific one.
I think obviously, like, probably for everyone, your wow in college moment is like just seeing your parents drive away and you're like, now what? Like, you go into your college dorm and it's like, okay, like, what am I supposed to do with myself? But honestly, I think that first day of class too, it's just like you're walking around, you're like, wow, I'm going to school, like, where I live, where I eat, like, where I do everything. It's like, it's such a weird feeling, but obviously that first week, it's so there's so much going on. You have like welcome week, you have
Hmm.
classes, you're registering, you're trying to put everything into place. So I feel like honestly, once that first week settles and you really, that's when you're like, okay, wow, this isn't like it's not a little vacation. It's like I'm here for 4 years.
Yeah, I think a lot of students don't realize there's the high of, well, and first you have the lull of the summer going into college. You have the high of the first week or two where, yeah, you got the welcome week, they roll out the red carpet. And then it goes into a little bit of a lull kind of right at, like after Labor Day where, okay, now we're in the swing of things and it's quieter again. And I don't think everyone's always ready for those ebbs and flows, which is why some students who start over the summer tend to get adjusted better and quicker because they're starting at more the lull and going through that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting how many students always remember the first week, but that second week hits you and
The
it's
second
different.
week is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that for me, I was honestly really loving it at first because obviously, like I just said, you're on a high. You're meeting so many different people, you're learning about so many new people, you're meeting your professors, going to different classes, and obviously like college is so cool because you're taking all different classes and you're like really interested, like, oh, I'm taking this, I'm taking that. And I think as a couple of weeks went by, it was probably, I want to say maybe mid-September where I was like, I'm not really the happiest here. I feel like I don't feel like myself. I can't like do what I want to do. I can't feel the motivation to like put so much effort. And I was like, I was really missing home. So I think it was just a lot of different things. I mean, it's hard when you're living on your own. You have nobody around, obviously.
Hmm.
You're meeting these people, but you don't know them that well. So it's like, how much can I rely on you, you know? So I think for another, like, I was coming home a lot, which wasn't like
I was just about to
that.
ask that. How often were you coming home? And did you feel like you were coming home more often because you were feeling homesick?
Yeah. Actually, like my first week being in Tampa, I remember we were getting hit with a hurricane and they
Oh
emailed
wow,
us.
that yeah, that's okay. So you were around that time as well. Okay, I remember that.
Yes. And they emailed us and they're like, we're closing campus. Like, you have to leave. And so I was just like, okay. I took my roommates and we were like, let's just go out. Let's just drive back home. So I came here. I think that kind of set it off a little bit because I was
Hmm.
like, wow, I really don't want to leave home and go back to school. But I was probably coming home like every 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not that bad. It's not like
It's
every
not that
weekend.
bad, but it's
Yeah.
pretty bad.
Okay. Do you feel like that would have been the case for any school that you would have gone to had you gone to, let's say, an Elon or a Charleston or even if it was like a Rollins or something like that? Do you feel like, you know what, I was meant to be closer to home than being further and farther away?
I do think so. And like the more I thought about it, because I have put that into perspective, like, oh, what if I did go to Elon? What if I did go somewhere else? But honestly, I'm such a homebody, and I just feel like no matter where I would have went, I probably would have ended up at home. It's
Okay.
just like where I thrive and where I can be myself. So I've kind of accepted I'm like, it's okay. I would prefer to be here and like be more successful here and feel better mentally and physically
Yeah.
closer to home, living at home, actually. I live here at home, so.
Do you have any regrets about going to Tampa? Because I think at least the fact that you went, you tried, you saw, you experienced it, rather than the woulda, coulda, shoulda, like, you know, what if I would have, you know, gone there? The fact that you actually did go, experienced it, do you feel like, okay, I gave it a really good try. I have no regrets about it.
Yes, that's my biggest thing. I am so happy that I went and that my parents kind of pushed me to try it, because even a couple weeks before I was like getting really nervous and having so much anxiety about like, wow, I have to leave, like this is happening. And my parents were like, you got it, like you have to go, you have to just try it. And honestly, I'm so grateful that I went and I saw for myself that it wasn't for me, because I feel down the road, if I didn't go away, I would have been like, wow, what if I did and I missed out on
Hmm.
so many great experiences? And so the fact that I did go and I did try it and I stuck it out for a whole semester was like my greatest accomplishment. I'm so grateful that I did and I tried it, because now I won't have any regrets.
So now we go to FAU. I think one of the things about FAU that scares a lot of Grandview students, especially, is that it's too close to home and it's too familiar. I know FAU, I know Boca. The one thing I will say about you is that I don't see you at Grandview every single day or even often at all,
And
or I haven't seen you around the Boca area. So I feel like you can still go to FAU and still be in Boca and not see everyone. And, you can still have a very independent life, like you would going out. But how has it been going to FAU, being closer to home, and just kind of that transition with FAU?
yeah, honestly, I think obviously that's everybody's worry. That was even my own worry. I was like, I feel like I'm staying in my comfortable zone by going to FAU, and it's going to be so different. But truly, once I started at FAU, and it's still a college, it's still, there's 33,000 people that go there. Like, you're meeting so many different people. There's so many new experiences. There's so many opportunities for you to join different clubs. And honestly, like, even for me, since we just moved here, I started Grandview as a junior and I had just moved here from New York. And honestly, even now, going to FAU, being a junior, I'm still learning different places in Boca and different places in Florida, honestly, that I would
Mm.
have never like experienced if I didn't meet people from FAU. And I honestly never like I've just am so busy. I don't do anything that I did honestly when I was going to Grandview. Like, I still have such a busy college schedule, even though I'm living at home. Even though it's right next door, honestly, I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm not even in Boca because I'm on this like beautiful campus that doesn't even feel like I live here.
It's funny because I was at the beach and I saw a lot of college kids there, and they were like, "Oh, we're so lucky to be here." And you could tell that they were from New York and New Jersey. I was wondering how many non-local South Florida people have you met? I mean, have you met other New Yorkers and people from the Northeast who are coming to FAU, and have you been able to kind of connect with some people that way?
A ton, yeah, a ton. So much New York, especially Long Island, where I'm from, New Jersey. It's crazy. FAU is like literally Northeast South school that everybody goes to. So it's nice. It's really nice to, and you feel that connection with people. They know like your area, they know where you're from, and honestly, everybody that you talk to, it's just like, wow, like I can't believe that we get to do this every day. Like, I know even for me, it took me so many years to just like when I was driving to school, even now driving to FAU, I'm like, how do we live here? Like, this is paradise, honestly. So honestly, that was another thing too, because I was like, I only was living here for 2 years before I decided to go to Tampa. And obviously, South Florida is like booming right now, and there's so much
Hmm.
different areas. Even if like you go south, you go north, anywhere, you get to like experience so many things on the East Coast. And even now with tennis and traveling, like I'm seeing all the different parts of Florida that I would have never experienced if I was just going to Tampa and staying in that area. But
All
yeah,
right.
I just love it.
So let's get into what keeps you so busy. First, let's start academics. What's your major? What are you studying right now?
I'm currently a marketing major, so
Hmm.
that's changed a little bit. I started as elementary education, but now I'm marketing.
How are you liking the marketing classes and business classes?
I love it. I love it. It's so fun. Yeah, it's
Challenging?
such a great time.
Are they challenging?
Yes, yes. The business courses are really challenging, which I didn't think was going to come with a marketing major. I was like, ooh, I'm going to take advertising and social media, influence, whatever. But no, my schedule this year is like insane. That's another thing keeping me busy. I like business law. I'm like, okay, I'm not a business major. Why am I taking accounting? But it's honestly all things that we need to know. So it's good. I like the challenge.
Have you had a chance to take any fun classes yet? Some classes that, as electives that you just enjoy? Or do you plan on maybe taking some of those in the future?
Yes, this semester, spring semester, I'm taking some like marketing electives that is like,
Hmm.
I don't know, digital marketing and
Oh, cool.
yeah. So those I'm looking forward to. Now I feel like I'm completely done with my gen ed. So
Your gen eds and your core.
all the classes that I have to take, I was just trying to get out of the way the first 2 years. So this
Yep.
year and next year will be fun courses.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then as far as what you're doing outside of the classroom, so let's start with maybe the biggest one because I didn't know you played competitive tennis that level. You're on the club tennis team for FAU, traveling and playing at different sites around Florida. What made you want to try out for the team? What made you want to, continue playing tennis?
Yeah, so honestly, I never picked up a tennis racket before I moved to Florida, and I was super unhappy before I started at Grandview. I was going to a different school for a couple months, and I was just in a really bad mental space, and I was like, wow, I really need to pick up an activity that will just like get me out of the house, put a smile on my face, and so I started to play tennis just for fun, honestly,
Hmm.
and it just kind of stuck. Obviously, I didn't play with the Grandview team, but I was playing here a bunch. Like I had a guy who was teaching me. He was like, "Come on, like you got it." So I just kept going to him continuously. And then when I went to Tampa, I was like, "Okay, to meet people, to join a club." I was like, "I'll join the tennis team." There was very different. I honestly didn't really like it. I wasn't really going to
Mm.
practices and stuff. And then when I transferred to FAU, I actually knew the girl who was the president at the time, and she was like, "You should definitely join the club. Like it's the best thing I ever did." So I was like, "Okay, I think maybe I will join the club." So freshman year when I started in the spring, I was like, especially as a transfer student, it
Mm.
was so important for me to join a club, and I'm
Yeah.
not really like a sorority girl or anything like that. So I was like, this is really important to join this club tennis team because we had 75 members when I joined. So it was like you're
Wow.
meeting so many people. It's such a great way to make friends, especially for me being off campus. It was so nice to meet a bunch of
Yeah.
girls. So yeah, so I started in the spring and we practiced 3 days a week. And honestly, like I was like, wow, this is the best experience ever. It made me love FAU more. It made me just have like such a good perspective. I was like, wow, I really love this. And the more and more I just kept playing, I was like, okay, like this is so fun. So then come my sophomore year last year, I was like, wow, I really want to be more involved. I joined the board. So we're student ran, obviously, because we're a
Hmm.
club. So I started doing the social media because I was like, oh, this is even a perfect way for my major
Yeah.
to get
Absolutely.
experience with stuff like this. So I did the social media, and now this year I'm the event manager. It's so fun. It's just honestly, it's very chill, but it's also, I'm a competitive person. I played lacrosse my whole life, so it's a great way to stay still playing sports and being competitive and traveling to other schools. We are hosting a tournament this weekend, and we just have a bunch of Florida schools come down, and it's so
Nice.
fun.
So
Yeah.
where have you traveled?
We have been to UF, FSU, FGCU, USF, North Florida, UCF. Yeah, so kind of all over the place.
All right, so I got to ask, what's your impression about the other Florida State schools now that you've traveled and played? I know you haven't seen the full scope of all those schools, but what's your impression? Because what's interesting is that they're all very different. My opinion is that they're all very different, especially as you go further north. You're in a much different part of the state. But what's been your impression about kind of visiting all these different campuses?
Yeah, I think it's funny because when we get back from tournaments, we're like, wow, we're really happy we don't go there. I think that was with me when I went to FSU. I was like, no way, never going back to Tallahassee in my life. But honestly, it's different for us because we're staying in like this gross hotel, like we're broke college kids, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like we're really getting that full experience when we go. But the campus, I have to say, the campus, FSU's campus was like insanely gorgeous.
Hmm.
That is one thing. Like their campus was insane. Their tennis courts were beautiful. Just when we left campus, I was like, Tallahassee's not it for me.
And it's interesting because there's a very difference between what a campus is and then what the
Right.
town and the city and the area around the campus. And I tell everyone to explore everything because while you may love being on a campus, if it's in the middle of nowhere or if it's in a bad part of a city or wherever it may be, it may not just be for you. But yeah, the Brook of Florida State is obviously very, very nice, but it's obviously very different than the rest of the state capital.
Yeah.
So, and then what's it been like just trying to manage everything? Because obviously, when you go to the campus, that's probably a couple days that you gotta miss class and all that, and you're a lot of travel, and I'm just trying to balance the tennis with academics and just all that. How's that been?
Yeah, it's hard, honestly. We usually leave on Fridays for tournaments, and obviously, like, because we're club, obviously academics comes first for everybody. So if we're carpooling, we always make sure, like, we'll leave after everybody's done with class.
Hmm.
It's important that, yeah. And it's hard sometimes because we play all day Saturday
Yeah.
and then we play Sunday until we lose. And then Sunday, when we lose, we eat and we drive back to Boca. Um, if we have homework due, and it's like it's really hard to just like Friday night, if we're have a far drive, whoever's not driving, we're in the back doing homework, like on
I
our
was gonna say,
computer.
yep, okay.
Yeah, if we're at once we get to the hotel, everybody's like, "Shoot, I gotta do this assignment. Like, it's due at 11:59. Like, I gotta submit it." So yeah, it's a hard balance, but I think for me, I'm like super. I have to have like things. If I know I'm leaving on Friday for a tournament, I don't want to have stress at all when it comes to school. So I that week before, I'm trying to just get all my assignments done and off my to-do list, so I don't have to worry about it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's different. And of course, these professors are not giving a lot of leeway as a Grandview teacher might
Right.
in the past. So, okay, so we got, you're a marketing major, you're doing tennis. What else is going on? How else are you spending your time?
Honestly, right now I'm doing a lot of babysitting and hanging out with some kids in the community, kids around, which is nice, and just trying to make money on the side. So I feel like when I'm not at FAU, when I'm not doing that, I'm picking up a bunch of kids. I feel like my schedule is so busy. Like I wish I could get like a real job, but it's so hard right now because we practice. I have class 4 days a week, and then we practice 3 days a week, and it's class in the morning, tennis at night. So it's like I don't even
Yeah,
have time.
it's
So
hard.
I'm
It's hard to add more on when you have a huge commitment on top of your academics. But yeah, you got to make the most of those little windows of time. And then doing anything special over the summer? Do you play over the summer, or do you just have summers off a little bit?
Summers are off, yeah. So this summer is honestly, I'm trying to find an internship, just something small that I could do on the side, whether it's somebody's social media. So I've been talking to a couple different companies
Nice.
that are hiring. But yeah, this summer is honestly crazy for me. Like in the beginning, I'm traveling to a lot of different places. I'm going to Portugal, I'm going to
Wow.
Canada. So yeah, so
Very
it's
cool.
crazy. Yeah, so
Um,
it'll be busy.
that's awesome. What has from I know you were only at Grandview for a couple of years, but has there been anything from the Grandview experience that has translated over the best into being successful now at FAU? Like, has there been a lesson or something that you've picked up or you learned while at Grandview that kind of has helped you now?
Yeah, I definitely think that relationship with your professors really helped me from my time at Grandview because I made so many amazing relationships with the teachers that I had at Grandview. And I feel like it just really helped me to be comfortable with after class going to my professors and asking them for help or even just like talking with them because I feel it's so important to have that relationship with your professor if you're struggling or like down the road if you need like somebody to write like something for you for like the workplace or whatever. It's so important to have that one teacher that you're like, wow, I really connect with you. And like they'll help you so much. And I know for me, especially this year, even like at the end of the semester, they always send out like these spot evaluations. And
Hmm.
I really struggled with accounting last year. And this semester, I had to retake it. And I had an amazing professor. And it was a smaller class, which I love because I thrive in a smaller environment when
Yeah.
you face to face. They know you by name, which was like the biggest thing for me at Grandview. I'll never forget my first day. Like when I walked out of the car, everybody greeting me. They knew my name. Like that was so important for me because I was like, wow, I really know like I'm going to have such an amazing support system here for the next 2 years.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's what really like followed me when I started college. I was like, okay, I really want to have these relationships with my professors that I had at Grandview with all the teachers that I had. So yeah, like this year for accounting, this guy was so amazing. And I just like at the end, like the last class, I was like, you have helped me so much. Like, I don't think you understand what it means to me. Like, I would be like struggling so much and having so much pressure to get the passing grade in the class because then I wouldn't be able to declare a marketing major, you know? So it's so
No,
important
absolutely.
to form those relationships. And it's honestly amazing for them to know because when I went up to him, he was like, thank you so much for like, this means so much to me to hear that. So I think that's really important.
Do you advise students to do anything in order to find the right professor for them? I know there's like Rate My Professor, which can and cannot be always accurate, but was there a way for, or is there any advice that you would give to a student on trying to find the right professor or the right class for them? Because obviously, unlike Grandview, you have multiple sections taught by multiple professors during different times of the day. Any advice there?
Yeah, I think honestly, it's like word of mouth
Mm,
and Rate My Professor, honestly.
okay.
For me, everybody was like, you need to take this professor. He's so good. He really helped me so much. So I think it's important, even when you're a freshman. I know it's hard, but if you meet people that are older and they've taken these classes before, it's so important to like talk about it and be like, hey, have you taken this class? And not be scared to ask around because that helped me so much. Otherwise, I wouldn't really know. Like you said, when you're registering, you have so many options to take from and you're like looking on, but of course everybody learns differently, so
Yeah.
everybody's going to have different opinions on if they thought that the professor was good or bad. So I think word of mouth is really important, asking around. And yeah.
We'll wrap it up with 2 years in, two to go. What does the future hold for Miss Ava? What's next? Is there anything big, exciting coming up? What do you hope for the last couple of years?
It's hard. I really don't know what I want to do. I think that's like the scare. Even when you go into college, that's like the scariest question when people ask you, "Oh, what's your major?" You're like, "I don't know." That's like how I feel now, 2 years into college. Everybody's asking, "Oh, what do you want to do?" Honestly, I think the next step for me is just finding that perfect fit for an internship, which can lead to a job, so that after college when I graduate, having that connection is so important. So I think just like forming those relationships with people that have marketing businesses and stuff that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So just putting myself out there,
Do you,
trying to get a job, trying to get an internship.
I know, do you feel like time is moving faster in college, as in these 4 years are going by super fast, and while you need to think about the future, you also want to enjoy the moment that you're in now. But do you feel like time goes by fast? Because I would say college 4 years goes by faster than high school 4 years.
High school, I was like, okay, this is never ending. This is literally just like an ongoing. I feel like I did like middle school quicker than I did high school. But college, honestly, is insane. I feel like I was a freshman literally yesterday. Like, I feel like I'm in everybody's shoes, like applying for colleges. And now I'm going into my, like, I don't even know. What am I going into?
Third year?
Yeah, my almost like my second semester of junior year, which
Yeah.
absolutely insane. And the fact I think of like I stop and think, especially now because this week is my last week of basically fall semester. We have
Hmm.
our Thanksgiving break goes right into finals, which goes
Yeah.
right into winter break. So I think for me, even I had that moment yesterday. I was like, I only have 3 semesters of college left. Like, it just absolutely flies by in the blink of it. Like people say, like you're gonna blink and college is gonna be over, and I was like, that's a joke. Like it's gonna be so long. But no, I'm like, how am I already a junior? And
Yeah.
it's gonna be over before I know it. So it's so scary. I'm trying to enjoy every moment of being like a kid and not having to go into the real world yet. But then again, I'm like, wow, I have to think about this because it's gonna happen so soon.
Yeah, you're already a junior, already in your 20s. Life comes at you fast. But listen, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know we had some technical difficulties getting here, but
Yeah,
I really, really appreciate it, and just enjoy the remaining time that you have. Make the most of it.
thank
Seize the
you.
day, as we say here.
Yeah,
And
thanks
thanks
for repping
again.
my school.
Always
Love
gotta,
it.
well, it's funny. So I had the Oregon State shirt, I had the FAU shirt, and someone asked, well, your first episode was with L and you don't have a UF. And I said, yeah, well, as a fan, I can rep FAU, I can rep Oregon State, but I went to
You're
USF,
a
so
Davis.
It's going to be hard to rep the Gators. Same
Yeah.
thing with the UCF Knights. But once maybe we get someone to graduate, then I'll wear the merch. But I'm
It's
proud
hard
to
to have
wear.
a shirt for everywhere. People go to too many different places to have a shirt there.
Yeah, no,
You can
absolutely.
have your little, you have the banners, right?
Yeah,
The
I
little
got I got
flag.
the flags, I got the banners. So yeah, trust me, there's enough UF stuff in my office anyway. But no, thanks again so much. Really appreciate it, and enjoy your Thanksgiving break. And good luck on
Thank
finals.
you. You too. I'll see you soon.
All right, take care.
Bye.